Hello, happy Tuesday. Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. I always have to second guess myself, but today Jarrett is going to come on and help me chat with you about whether or not your data playbook is right for you. And last week I did a live talking about how I use the data playbook tool to help me decide what products do I market and how that basically sets the path for my whole month. But I don't think this tool is right for everyone. So what we are going to talk about is if this is a good fit for you and your business, because I only want to recommend to you things that work and to help encourage you to, keep your eye on lots of shiny things out there. So what we're going to talk about today is whether or not this shiny thing should catch your eye. Fit for you. Hi.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I think this is my first Instagram live, so I'm such a noob.
Feeling a little nervous, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. This isn't my thing, so I'd rather work with data.
Yeah. Well, Great. We'll go.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, so, I'm definitely wide-eyed. Hey, but I brought my special shirt, right? You can see Dad a rock star. There you go.
Hey. So. I should get a shirt that says Instagram queen or something.
Exactly. Right? We can learn from each other.
Yes. So why don't you, just in case anybody who is watching doesn't know who you are, what you do, what yourself, and then tell us a little bit about your data playbook. What's that about?
Yeah, absolutely. So, your data playbook. So what we're passionate about is we're really passionate about helping teacher sellers unlock the value of their data and becoming data-driven, right? So it's essential in the digital world, as you know, data is fueling everything. So we want to help you guys compete and thrive in the digital world by learning how to unlock and leverage your data. So what YDP and your data playbook is really about, it's a membership service that provides a toolkit, right, to help teacher sellers run their business using data, so analytics tools, to compete in the digital world. So that's the core of what we offer. And our mission is to enable those teacher sellers, you guys, to unlock the value of their data and use it as a strategic lever for business growth and transformation. Now, you can do data is a whole new world for a lot of people, and so that's what we're about, our mission, where we're focused in our core offering right now. And we do that. We have 3 different ways we do that. We do that through automation, visual analytics, a toolkit, and enablement. So enablement and coaching, because we know in order to become data-driven, there's a lot of hurdles, right? So it's not intuitive for a lot of people. So we've combined those 3 aspects, those hurdle flatteners, as we call them, in order to be able to unlock that value of the data for you so that you don't have to do a lot of that heavy lifting. So we take out that part and allow you to be able to literally leverage your data from a starting point that maybe would take you hours even to get there on a monthly, weekly, daily basis. So that's really what we're trying to do, and that's how we unlock it. So it puts you in a way better position to actually start using tools right away, as opposed to data wrangling, like you're at a rodeo trying to figure out what to do. Here, we actually give you these beautiful tools that give you suggestions on how to use data to drive value for your business, right? So that's what we're about in a very broad sense. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think you guys do a great job of that. If anybody is watching and they're like, that was the word data a lot, I am kind of on the boat of just starting to really dig into data. I had been trying to use it, and I would open my product stats, open up my dashboards, sort through things, look at stuff, and be like, okay, now what? How do I apply this information? So, okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a second. So that was a good kind of overview of what your data playbook is and all that they have to offer. So let's talk a little bit about who is this for, right? Your teacher authors, but it's maybe not the best fit for everybody. Maybe listening to this and they're like, I'm a data newbie. Is this going to be overwhelming to me? Is it going to take me a time to learn? Would you say this is just not for?
Yeah. So I would say out the gate, it's not for someone who doesn't even have a desire to want to use data. Even so, if maybe you're intimidated by it, but you still want to learn to use it and you believe in its value, then I would say it's definitely for you, even if you're a newbie, right? I would say the people who have had the most value thus far, those teacher sellers, are those more established sellers that have at least 1 or 2 years because they have more products, so they can optimize products. We have a module we talk about focus, optimize, and drive. So really it's about how to optimize your product listings using recommendations based off the data to tell you what to do, right? So, but if you are a newbie, like a new seller, and you love data or you believe in the value of it, it still can be a good fit for you because you can actually start optimizing your products way earlier on. So it's not necessarily how many products, but like a good measure. Ask yourself, if you're like you have less than a year of data, for example, do you have products that are already selling well? They already have traction. If they do, then you can start optimizing them. So I think that's so. But if you don't have products that have traction in your first year, then this isn't a good fit for you. So I'd say the bottom line, if you have products that have traction, you can use that data to help starting to optimize that. So that's a good like default rule of thumb right there. And if you're intimidated by data, but you understand that there is value and you want to learn how to unlock it, even though you might not be data driven, that's another good another default, another like principle rule of thumb for you if it would be a good fit for you.
Okay. How long would you say, and I my own answer to this, but I'm curious about what you've seen from people in their Playbook. How long would you say you need to spend each month? Like how much time you return from implementing these tips and like applying the data? Yeah. Like taking action on this information.
So, I mean, one of the rules we teach is like 80-20. So basically like 80% of your earnings come from 20% of your products in your portfolio. And so it's really a matter of focusing on those top 20 products that produce the 80%. And so you might only have an hour a month to focus on those optimizations. So do what you can. I mean, I know people that have a data day, it's once a month. They just look at their data, and it's a couple hours a month, or it's an hour, whatever you can dedicate to it. But we have seen that people I think consistency is the biggest thing, right? So if you're consistent and you schedule it into your whatever your week looks like or your month, and just allocate the time to do it. But you can do as little as an hour or as much as 5 hours, depending on how much you want to dive in. But there's so much depth there. But I would say the biggest factor is consistency and how dedicate that time. Because going back to your previous question, actually, I would say that this isn't for people that think it's a silver bullet, right? There's no such thing as a silver bullet in business. So if anyone tells you that, and I'm sure you're aware, like run away, because you have to put in the time. So we believe, and just like anything, and you can go anywhere across the world is talking about analytics and data. Like becoming data driven is a practice. It's not a project. It's not something that is an end state. It's a way of actually doing and running your business. So, so if you want a silver bullet, like we teach you ways to grow, but we're not telling you, do this one thing one time and you're good. Like that's not at all what we're about. So it's about, I would say, if you want to show up consistently and just if you have 1 hour a month, you can make improvements at a bottom line.
That's a great way to look at it. My live last week, I was talking about how I use it kind of as the foundation of my whole month. So I'll sit down with my data and I'll look at those top earners for a month and I'll say, okay, this is what's recommended. This is what I'm going to do. And then I'll tackle all of my outside of TpT marketing efforts on blog, email.
Absolutely.
All founded on those other changes that I've made. And so that has made a big long-term shift in my business, even though it's just this one little thing. And it can be, I've been there where you're like, all of a sudden you open your data, and you start clicking around, and then before you know it, you're like, okay, I have to taking action with this. But it's just so interesting to see all that stuff. So, okay, awesome.
So I would say with that too, actually, just even like writing down the month, taking out your notebook and writing for, okay, what question am I trying to look to answer before you even go into your data? Because you can grab a trail easily if you don't know what you're looking for, right? So and I've been there. Like I've had to learn that the hard way because it'll be like 3 hours on, wow, that was really cool. That's really cool. And that's part of the discovery process is you can actually learn new things that you never realized about your store, which is awesome. But if you're not aligned with what you're actually trying to accomplish, then it can get risky because you're deviating from what your core purpose is for that time is.
Right. It's like when you're at a meeting and all of a sudden you start talking about all these other things and you're like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That was not our goal. Okay. So anybody who is established or who has products who have tracked anybody who wants to become data driven, even if they're not already, they know that this is something that's going to help them in their business, and they're willing to put in the time. They know that this isn't a magic fix, right? Nothing is, and I agree with you. If anybody tells you this is going to make your whole life better,
run as fast as you can.
Are there any other things that you would add and say, you know what, this is just not for you? I would advise wait, or I would say absolutely not. It's not going to be a good fit. What would be kind of a red flag for you?
A red flag. I mean, it's hard because I feel like there's so many benefits. I could talk more about benefit. Like a red flag would be like literally you're like you don't have interest. Like I'll ask yourself if you don't want to know the question. Like, hey, if you don't want to easily know which products have decreased in page views year to date or like this year versus last year, then it's not for you. Like if that doesn't spark your curiosity, like, I would really like to know which products are losing more traffic this year versus last year, or hey, which products are actually converting on less, like relative to the price point. So literally, the price that I have on my product, this product is underperforming in terms of its price. If that doesn't even intrigue you at all, then I wouldn't say this is a good fit for you, right? And like we know that previews have a really high influence on conversion, right? And I would say again, if you don't see the value in optimizing previews yet, that's okay. But if you understand that TpT has explicitly stated that the biggest factor after price of a purchase decision is a preview, and now you can actually see which influences that, like which previews do a better job influencing the decision. Like if those three things don't like spark your curiosity or excite you, then I would say those are huge red flags and you shouldn't join.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And Kira just commented, she's in the live. She's saying currently running a ad to a $1.02 earning per view product, and it's going well. Yeah, that's awesome. So that's something she and I have been talking about as one of the biggest benefits of your service, is something that I realized if you use the tool to check out the earnings per page view and cost per click on running ads.
Yeah. You like, because you get, you're that, I love that reaction. It's true. You're absolutely right. So it's how to control spending, right? So you're not overspending on, so earnings per view basically is how much the product makes for every view it receives. And that's what Ashley's referring to is, cost per landing page or cost per click, right? So you want to make sure your cost per click or cost per landing page view are always less than what your product actually makes per view that it receives. Otherwise, you're going to be losing money.
Right? Before I realized that I could use this tool to run that as just like a math problem, I was just picking products that I thought would sell if I put traffic to them and hoping, and then just like watching really carefully what my ad money was doing and just like, okay, is it selling, not selling? And now I know, like, oh, I can open this up and run my normal, like Facebook tends to spend about this much for my app. Is this math going to work out in my favor? Yes or no?
Exactly.
So that's something really powerful for me in my business, using this tool.
I love hearing that. Yeah, that's huge, especially for those that are actively engaging in paid ads. So that's another great use case. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if anybody's watching, I mentioned this in my live the other week, but you didn't catch that, or if you missed this, I do have a YouTube video where I walk through how I use the tool to do that. And it's unlisted because it's showing my data, but if you wanted to see that, drop me a comment or send me a text. I'll send you the link it out so you can see how the tool can work to make those decisions for your business. So
absolutely. Sweet. Wonderful. I love it, Ashley. I don't know if you have any more questions for me, but hopefully I was able to answer most of them.
It really helped. It does make a big difference to think about, right? Sometimes you see something for your business and you get really excited about it, but then you're like, oh, that's not, that's not actually the right time for me right now. So about all of those pieces that you described, I hope will help somebody watching decide, is this going to be right for me or not? Anybody who's watching right now, if you have a question for him, go ahead and drop those in the comments. That's great. Jarrett, do you want to remind us, when does the cohort close? I know it's coming soon.
So we need to put something on the website for like a countdown, because we've had that some reason we haven't put it. It's on the 25th at midnight CST. So Central Time, midnight 25th, which would be this coming Monday.
Okay, so pretty soon.
Yeah, it's pretty soon. We're halfway through the launch right now. So
okay.
Yeah.
So you're getting there. And if anybody who's watching wants to learn more, if you go to my profile, tap the title and then tap my little picture, there's a link to the data playbook right in my bio. You can go check it out. They have, it's a landing page, so there's tons of information on there. Kira wants to know, what about people like have a few products and are concerned they will run out of things to do with the data? Oh, that's an interesting question.
How many products do you have? So I think if you have products, so like for example, if you have 20 products, I don't think you'll run out. You'll be surprised. You're going to find, again, one question leads to another question, leads to another. So that's the art of discovery with data. So you're going to understand, and you're actually going to want to go in. You're going to want to go in and actually, sorry, I'm reading the comment here. So it says, but maybe, okay. So yeah, I would say, again, if you don't have any traction on any product and you're not at least have a year, then this isn't for you. But let's say you have traction and you have 20 products. Even with those 20 products, as you iterate and optimize those products, you're going to learn about how the market responded, and then you can make tweaks and you can continue to optimize. So again, I think it's not a number of product issue, right? It's a matter of how you manage the current product listings that you have. And then once you see the response, it's a cycle about how you continue to optimize and how you continue to promote traffic to them. It's literally, this is a way of running business. This is a tool, a platform to help you run your business on an ongoing fashion, right? So this isn't like a one and done. So that it's a mindset shift. These are tools to enable you to run your business using data. And so you adopt that mindset over time through consistently using them and asking questions about your products. So it's not a function of how many, and I don't think you'll run out if you're doing optimizations, because then you'll probably get sparked on. You'll be enlightened by the fact of what you're learning, and then it might actually spark new product ideas, for example, because you might see, hey, there's X amount of customers that are repeat customers on this particular product line. I should expand this product line because it was well received. Like that's another something that we have in there as well, like number of repeat customers by product. So yeah, again, if you don't have traction, I think that's the biggest thing. Right, but if you do, I think you definitely can. You can get value pretty quickly on, and you don't have to wait. And then the longer you wait, think about the more time you're going to have to go back and spend optimizing. So the earlier on, right.
That's me.
Yeah, I mean, my wife is the same way. Beth, it's like now she's over 200 products. Like, okay, now this is like this. Okay. That's why we say focus on your 80-20, because you can't do it all. It's just way too much. So you have to just start consistently going for it. But yeah.
Yeah, I would add to that there's just so much you can do. Even so, say you're just looking at your top, 20% or whatever. That if you optimize all of the things on TpT, then you can start looking at how to increase your traffic to those things that are your top earner. Right? You can start looking at techniques for, right? That's my magic spot here. Right? How do we increase our traffic? How do we increase our views? Because if you know your funnel is working, right, they're checking out the preview, they're clicking purchase, then why wouldn't you get as many people into that funnel as possible? So
exactly. It's about scaling. It's about scaling your products quicker, right? So you don't have to wait, but you're actually starting to do that. And again, the two biggest growth levers that we teach is product listing optimization, and ultimately that's to increase your conversion. And once you do that, then it's just about getting more eyeballs on this product by traffic generation. And then it's this beautiful feedback loop where you literally it just continues to feed itself. And then ideally you go to autopilot and move on to the next product. But yes, that's the ideal. Phase 3 is what we teach in the membership.
The promised land.
Yes, exactly.
The magical world. But with that optimization and then driving more traffic, that's kind of what I had experienced with this this past month when I ran Facebook ads. I optimized things according to what the playbook recommended. I decided to just increase my traffic through paid optimization, right? Through paid traffic.
Yep.
Only bummer is personal resources, right? So when that season ending, it was like, I have to turn off the traffic.
All right. I know, right? This is too good. I don't want to stop. Yes. So then, that's it. I would say then it's like, okay, for us, because of that, actually, I'm like, let's focus on those year-long products, because then you get that engine going, and then because it's like you do all that work, and then it's like, no, But again, now you know what worked for this year, so you can use it again for next year for seasonal products. But yeah, if you want to do a longer, what's the word? I just lost the word. But if you want to get the most out of your invested time, that's a great approach. It's like, okay, focus and prioritize of your top sellers, those that you can leverage and do those optimization and then traffic generation all year round. And that's like again, like you're saying, the promised land.
I know. So, let those engines just run.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you can do the things that you like to do, right?
Oh, and the other question I had for you before we kind of wrap things up here, because I'm thinking that the live questions are kind of drying up. So I know you've been doing live Q&A sessions and demos. Mm-hmm. When?
The next one is tomorrow at 1 o'clock EST. And then we have a final one the night the cart closes, which is on Monday, the 25th at, again, 8 p.m. EST. So we have, I think we have links out there. We can resend them. But I think you have access to those. And
if anybody wants to attend, not just the live Q&A session, because I think you got a lot of really good information here, hopefully, while you're watching.
Okay.
The thing that I think will be really key is they're doing demonstrations of, like, what are the tools, what's all the information that because, like, it's hard to really understand how much information they give you until you see action. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So if you're interested in taking one of those demos either tomorrow or Monday, make sure you comment or you send me a DM and I'll get you a link to the Zoom sessions.
And if you do come and Ashley was the one that referred you, and you end up purchasing, make sure you use her link. So that just to honor you and your time. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that is pretty much everything we have. Did you have any last minute thoughts or anything else you wanted to add?
No, thanks so much for having me on. I wish my wife, my better half was here, but she is with our oldest actually going to play soccer right now. So yes, but she was excited and she's like, go have fun. But beforehand I was like jittery and because this isn't my thing. If you look at my Instagram, don't do it seriously though. I think my last post on Instagram was like 2017, so I'm definitely not active on Instagram. And there's lots of reasons for that. But so thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no problem. Just a reminder for anybody else who's watching, like, you don't have to do everything for your business all the time, right? Yeah. So it's okay to not be everywhere all at once. I do. So
sequence equals success, right? Just like you don't put a roof on a house first. You got to build the foundation before you can build the walls. So sequence is key.
I agree. All right. Anybody else watching the replay has any questions, needs anything, make sure you can comment and either will respond to your questions or in DM. Happy to out. So, and if you need a link to check out the playbook, it is in my profile, my bio. So just let me know if you need anything.
All right. Wonderful. Have a good one. Bye, Ashley.